We're going to look at how cardinality can be shown in Venn diagrams. And to begin, we'll look at an example involving flags. So there's lots of flags in the world. Here's a small collection of them. There's only 8 of them. These are the only ones we're going to consider. So this will be our universal set. Now what we're going to think about with these flags is how many have stripes, how many have stars, and how many have neither of those. So let's start by looking at all the flags that have a star on them. There's 5 of them in all, so we'll just take note of that. Then we'll look at all the flags that have stripes on them. There's 4 of those. And we'll look at all the flags that have both stars and stripes on them. There's 3 of those. And then there's some flags that don't have stars or stripes on them. And that would be 2 flags. Now let's take what we've just seen and put it in a Venn diagram. And we'll go ahead and label the 2 attributes that we've been looking at, stars and stripes. The rectangle that you see is the container for our universal set. So every flag that we looked at has to be contained somewhere within the rectangle. And the 2 attributes, the circles that we see, separate that universal set into 4 different regions. So as we look at each flag, we'll figure out which region of this Venn diagram the flag belongs in. So for example, this flag has both stars and stripes, so it has to go in the part of the Venn diagram where stars and stripes overlap or intersect. This flag, on the other hand, only has stripes, so it has to be contained within the stripe circle, but outside of the star circle. This one only has stars, so it has to be in the star circle, but not in the stripe circle. And we'll continue doing that with all of the flags. If we get to a flag that doesn't have stars and it doesn't have stripes, then we're going to put that within the rectangle. It's still part of our universal set, but outside of the 2 circles because it doesn't have either of the attributes that we're looking for. And when we do that with all of the flags, we get a Venn diagram that looks like this. Now remember those numbers that we counted when we looked at the flags before we put them in the Venn diagram. For example, we found that there were 5 flags that had stars. Well, here they are in the Venn diagram, and you'll see that if a flag has a star on it, that means it has to be within the star circle. But depending upon whether it also has stripes or it only has stars, it will be in one of those 2 regions that the star circle has been divided into. Okay, so now let's look at this very same situation but from a slightly different direction. Out of 8 world flags, 5 have stars, 4 have stripes, and 3 have both stars and stripes. So how can we use a Venn diagram to determine how many flags are in each region? In this case, we don't know what the individual flags are. We just know how many there are in each region. So we know some cardinalities. So once again, one of our circles is stars, the other is stripes. And let's start by looking at the most specific information that talks about the most circles overlapping. So that would be the part of the diagram where we have both stars and stripes. So that's the intersection of those 2 circles, which has 3 flags in it. So the 3 represents cardinality. Now we'll look for some description of only one attribute. So in this case, let's look for 5 have stars. That means there's 5 flags within the entire star circle, and we've already counted 3 of those 5 in one of those 2 regions that star circle is divided into, which means the other part of the star circle would have to have 2 flags in it. 2 plus 3 gives us the 5. We know that 4 of the flags have stripes. So within the entire stripe circle, there have to be 4 flags. We already know where 3 of those flags are within the stripe circle. And in the other part of the stripe circle, we have to have the remaining 1 flag to make 4 in all. So now we need one more number in our Venn diagram. We need to know how many flags are still within the rectangle, still in the universal set, however, outside of the circles, meaning they don't have stars, they don't have stripes. And to figure that out, we're going to look at how many are in the universal set. That's 8 in all. So in this entire rectangle, there have to be 8 flags. So far, we've found where 2 plus 3 plus 1, that's 6 flags in all where they belong. So that means the remaining 2 flags would have to be outside of the circles, but still in the universal set. And just a reminder, here's what our Venn diagram looked like. And if you count the number of flags we had in each of those regions, you'll see it matches up with the numbers we found in this problem. Once we know the cardinalities of the individual regions, we can answer all kinds of questions, like how many of these flags have only stars? So that means we're going to look for the part of the Venn diagram that is within the stars circle, but only within the stars circle. And that would just be 2 flags. How about how many have only stripes? Well, that would be the flags that are in the stripe circle and only the stripe circle, which is 1. So let's look at a slightly more complex problem. 60 people were asked, which of these stores have you shopped in this week? 32 shopped in Walmart, 24 in Target, 21 in Kohl's, 11 in Target and Walmart, 10 in Walmart and Kohl's, 6 in Target and Kohl's, 4 shopped in all 3 stores. How many shopped in none of the stores? So there's 3 attributes here, 3 stores, Walmart, Target, Kohl's. So our universal set will have to be divided into 8 regions from these 3 circles. Now, in order to find the cardinalities, we're going to look for the most specific information, which in this case is way down at the bottom. 4 people shopped in all 3 stores. So where the 3 circles intersect, we know there's 4 people. Now, working our way up from the bottom, up above that, we know that 6 people shopped at Target and Kohl's. That would be this part of the Venn diagram. That means that has to be a total of 6, and we already have 4 of those 6 in that region. So the remaining 2 people have to be in this part of the Venn diagram. Working our way up again, 10 shopped at Walmart and Kohl's. That's this part of the Venn diagram. That's supposed to be 10 in all. We know where 4 of those people are, so the remaining 6 have to be here. Still working up, 11 shopped at Target and Walmart. We know where 4 of the 11 are, so the remaining 7 have to be here. Still working our way up, 21 shopped at Kohl's. So in the entire Kohl's circle, there have to be 21. So far, we know where 12 of those 21 are. That's 4 plus 6 plus 2. The remaining 9 have to go here. 24 shopped at Target. So in the entire Target circle, there have to be 24. So far, we have 7 plus 4 plus 2. That's 13. So the remaining 11 are in this part of the Target circle. And finally, 32 shopped at Walmart. So in the entire Walmart circle, we have to find 32 people. So far, we've got 7 plus 4 plus 6, that's 17. That means the remaining 15 of the 32 people have to be in this part of the Walmart circle. Now we've got one more region we haven't found, and that's the region that's still within the universal set, still within the rectangle, but outside of these three circles. So we go back up to the problem that tells us there's 60 people in all. So if we add up all the numbers that we have so far in all of these regions, and then subtract that from 60 to get how many we still need, we find that there's 6 people outside of all three circles, but still within the universal set. So that answers our question. How many shopped in none of the stores? That would be 6 people.